In the criminal justice system, Trump's offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the corrupt detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Trump's Victims Unit. These are their stories. Dum-dum!
What you are about to experience is out of this world. Politics, history, and of course, a lot of entertainment. It's time to rock it with the Docket.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here with another fantastic episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. And if you are excited to be here as well, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so then you never miss one of my videos. So I wanted to say that I'm completely shocked that Donald Trump was convicted on all 34 counts by a jury in New York, because I honestly had hope. I hoped that there was going to be one person that would say, okay, this trial is stupid, maybe Trump isn't guilty of any crime, or what crime is Trump even guilty of, or wait a minute, Michael Cohen is a convicted liar and claimed that he would lie to protect himself. And also Stormy Daniels claimed on the witness stand, and also in other places, that she was never paid by Donald Trump at all. No, that never happened, as all hope was lost when the jury came back and claimed that Trump was guilty on all charges. Here's the thing though, this trial was rigged from the very beginning, and this is what I talked about in the first episode of the bias and corruption episodes. We already knew that the daughter of the judge was corrupt, as she was a member of the Kamala Harris campaign back in 2020. Now we are finding out that the judge, Murdoch, donated $35 to Progressive Turnout Project, which is a Democratic-funded organization, and also he donated to the Joe Biden campaign. Do you really think that this judge was going to be fair? Now, the corruption with this judge just goes so deep. You could tell from the very beginning that he wanted to get Trump, as before the verdict even happened, the judge laid down a few ground rules for the jury, and he told the jury that they didn't have to agree on everything to convict Donald Trump, as there were 3 major crimes that Trump was charged with. So if one of the jurors says he was guilty of falsifying business documents and not guilty of election fraud, then that would still be considered a guilty to the judge. This is not usually how it works, but you can tell that he wanted to get Trump so bad. The judge didn't even give the jury a copy of the instructions, and it was like 53 pages long, and he just read it out to them. It took them an hour to read it all, and he just said, good luck with that. You know what that does? It confuses the jury, and it makes them want to just go home and just say that he is guilty and get it over with. They could write the judge questions, but that was it. And I think this is what finally broke the jury. There might have been 1 or 2 people that said, hey, this really isn't a crime, why are we here? But then they were persuaded by the others to convict Trump on all of these charges. Now, I want you to understand something very important. This is exactly what the Democrats have wanted from the very beginning. Ever since Trump came down that escalator, this is what they wanted. Because Trump's first crime was beating Hillary Clinton, and after that it was game on for the Democrats to get this man out of office or into a jail cell. It started with the Russian collusion hoax, then it led to the Ukraine money hoax, which led to an impeachment, then it led to the second impeachment on January 6th. Then when Trump was an average citizen, there were people that were running for district attorney who wanted to go after Donald Trump. Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, and others were all campaigning on getting Donald Trump. Alvin Bragg even boasted on the campaign trail in an overwhelming Democratic county that it is a fact that I have sued Trump over 100 times. Guess what? Now they got him on this campaign finance crap, which shouldn't have been a case in the first place because this case has been brought up before, but every single time it was dropped. So Bragg had to come up with a plan, take a misdemeanor like the falsification of business records, and claim that the misdemeanor was committed with the intent to commit another crime. Now, here's a question. What was the other crime? We have no idea. Bragg refused to specify what those unlawful means actually were, and the judge even declined to force them to admit what these crimes were until right before the closing arguments. Trump did not get his constitutional right to know what crimes he was being charged with before the case even started. It seemed like this case was made perfectly just to get Donald Trump, and it was perfectly timed too, as this crime, in quotation marks, was committed in 2016. They could have brought this up any time before then, but they didn't until 2024, which is past the statutes of limitations, but that's fine because they want to interfere with the election. All of this is a perfectly crafted scheme to get Donald Trump out of the 2024 race because guess what? Joe Biden is losing. You look at the polls right now and you see that Donald Trump is winning in every single battleground state, with or without RFK Jr. Trump just this week tried to get more people to join his campaign as he went to the Libertarian National Convention and was received with some boos, but told them to vote for him or they will continue to only get 3% of the vote. And now some libertarians are jumping over to the Republican Party because the libertarians just nominated a man that agrees with child sex changes and is basically a leftist. Trump is increasingly getting more African American support, more Latino support, more support with women. And while he is doing all of these different things, Joe Biden is doing commencement speeches where he claims that you are a victim if you are black or a woman. Or he is telling the graduates that the Democrats are the party of the future while continuously talking about January 6th. For Biden, the ship is sinking. This week, a reporter even asked Joe Biden if he was thinking about dropping out of the election and letting Kamala Harris take over because Joe Biden is so old and the Democrats don't want him. Just take a look at this response.
Will you be serving your full 4-year term or handing over power to Vice President Harris? All 4 years or handing over? I can't hear you. Could you approach?
Thanks, everybody.
Now, maybe the reporter did fall on their head, but the situation for Joe Biden is dire. He is not popular, inflation is on the rise, and even Democrats are nervous about him and want him gone. The only way that Joe Biden can win is if Trump is gone, and well, they might have just received a huge gift. So now the sentencing for this case is on July 11th, and the Republican convention is on the 15th. Ironic, right? I believe at this point the judge is going to go hard on Trump. There are news reports and speculations that Trump will only get community service and a fine, and that's it. Honestly, I hope that's what happened, but after this jury verdict, I think this judge will give Trump years in prison. It may be 3, or it may be 103, but I do believe that Trump will go to prison. This will leave a mess for the Republican Party and the RNC. Do they keep Trump and have him run from jail, or do they pick another candidate like, say, Nikki Haley? Now, Trump can run from prison. That has happened before, as all the way back in 1912, Eugene V. Debs was arrested and charged with sedition as he was urging people to resist the military draft, and he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Now, if the RNC picks Haley, it will be a gift to Joe Biden because this will split the party, and some people that support Donald Trump may write Trump's name in the ballot, which will split the vote. Boom, Biden wins. And if the RNC picks Trump while he is still in jail, I think that Trump still has a possibility to win. However, Trump will be in jail, which means that he won't be able to campaign, which will give Joe Biden the advantage. Bada bing, bada boom, Joe Biden wins. You can see the crooked game that these people are playing. They want Trump off the campaign trail because it is the only way that the corpse, Joe Biden, can actually win the election. Joe Biden is falling, and this might be the only chance that he has to gain some ground on Donald Trump. This was the plan, but now it is starting to backfire big time. People are starting to understand and wake up to what these corrupt Democrats are doing. People are realizing that this court battle for Trump was like tying both of his hands behind his back and telling him to go fight someone. This was a Pearl Harbor style attack on Donald Trump and really against the whole country of the United States. But the general of the Japanese army had a very specific quote that I believe aligns with us today. As he said, "I believe we have awoken a sleeping giant." The giant in this case is the Republican Party, as they are now awake, and I can tell you right now, they are ticked off. Heck, I am still ticked off about all of this crap. People are so mad that they all went to Trump's campaign website, along with the Republican Party website, and donated a grand total of $52.8 million. Trump's campaign website even crashed because there were so many people that were going there and trying to donate. People all over X were commenting that this trial was wrong and that they are now supporting Donald Trump. Who knew that a guilty verdict in a Democratic city would actually help Trump win a second term? The question is, how do we keep this fire in our bellies? How do we make sure that we are angry about this a few weeks from now when Trump is sentenced to 5,000 years in jail? We have to remember and remind everyone that this is a miscarriage of justice. That from the very beginning, this was not a fair trial at all, and that it needs to be appealed immediately. The Democrats can run around all happy, claiming that Donald Trump is a convicted felon, and they can count how many times he was guilty, and they can be all happy and dance around, and they may not believe us, but we have to tell them the truth. We also have to make sure that we stay vigilant as well, as the people have Donald Trump's back. However, there is a sinking feeling in my mind that the Democrats won't stop here. If they really want to get rid of Trump, it will have to be permanent. That's why I believe with all of my heart that if Trump is still leading in the polls or winning the election, even if he's in jail and he gets a second term, someone is going to try and kill Donald Trump. Joe Biden can't run against Donald Trump if Trump isn't alive. Trump could go to jail and, oh, oops, a Secret Service member just looked away and Trump got stabbed. Oh well, it looks like Joe Biden's the president now. Listen, to the Democrats, to these evil people, Trump is literally Hitler. And the Democrats, being the anti-fascists that they are, have to stop him. They have to make sure that he isn't on the ballot or that he is in jail. But every time they do something that would destroy a regular presidential campaign, Trump just keeps on getting bigger and the polls keep on going higher. They have literally tried every single trick in the book. Why wouldn't they try an assassination? It's scary to think about, but we thought that they would stop after the Russia investigation. We thought that they would have stopped after the Mar-a-Lago raid where the police were told to use deadly force from Merrick Garland. Then he was arrested and sent down to Georgia where he got a mugshot. And then he was accused of raping some crazy cat lady. And over and over and over again, we see the Democrats push the envelope and get away with it. Why would they stop now? They're not going to. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just warning you that it's not going to stop. May 30th, 2024 will go down in American history. It will be a day that I will remember for my entire life. A day where a former president was arrested by his political rivals. A day where a can of worms was opened that will affect this country for years to come. Where we will live in a world where if a Republican wins the presidency, they will go after the Democrat in a red state. And if a Democrat wins, they will go after their opponent in a blue state. It won't end, and soon every single president will have a criminal record. It will divide this country more than ever before, and it could lead to a civil war. I believe, however, that the Democrats won't get away with this. The case will go to the appeals court where it will rightfully get shut down, but the damage is done. The left will call Trump a felon, even if the case is thrown out, or he is in the White House. Now, sometimes when big events like this happen, I wonder why I do this. I could just ignore all of it and not care about it and just focus on my job or do something else with my time. And I will admit that I did go a little bit crazy on social media, and I do apologize for that. But I love this country so much that I don't want to see it get destroyed by political despots that claim that they are anti-fascist and pro-democracy, but then arrest the front runner for the opposing party. We cannot let this slide. We need to fight back. We need to have a revolution. It is time that we finally take this country back, peacefully. For many of you, this was a wake-up call. And if this was a wake-up call for you, I want you to post something on social media showing your support for Donald Trump. Or maybe call a friend. Or if someone is talking about politics, you interject and say, hey, I'm voting for Donald Trump. I like him. Because we have to win this fight. If we don't win this fight, it's only going to get worse for everyone. We can't be scared to say that we are a Trump supporter, and in November, we need everyone to vote for Donald Trump. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next time, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye.